Hey guys, welcome back to the Coffee Got Cold podcast. So I'm super excited for today's interview or guest on the podcast. I don't have a lot of guests on. It's hard to find moms who are down to share when they're in the thick of things. And my friend Stephanie here has a 6-week-old baby. So I was like, can you please come on and chat just about, whatever you're going through? Because for me, I wish I would have recorded back then. I actually remember during in week 2, I messaged this podcast that I listened to and I was like, hey, this would be a great thing to share. I'm down to talk about it and I'll be really honest and everything. They never wrote back. But so it's really cool that I get to do this now because you kind of forget on purpose a lot of things that
Right.
go down during those first few weeks. So yeah, welcome Stephanie. Thank you for
having me.
Yes. So tell us a little about yourself, about your babies, and then we'll jump into some questions.
Okay, so like you said, I do have a little 6-week-old. She's a little girl, but I also have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and I am an all-girl mom. So I have my hands full, but I'm so blessed that they're full with my little baby girls. And I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have been a stay-at-home mom since my first was born. I took a little stay-at-home mom break where I went back to work for a year and a half. And then I came back to being a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah, I love that. And that's a cool part of your story too that I feel like a lot of moms will relate to, because you were on our call in between sips last week, and
Yes.
a lot of people who they're like, I tried it, I went back. I just did an interview yesterday with a girl who has a full-time career and a
Nice.
side business and 2 kids, and
Wow.
and I'm like, what? You need to come on the call and talk about that because I can't help. I'm like, I did the total opposite. So it's cool that you have that experience.
Yeah. And it was definitely a lot. It was a lot. It was doable, but I did feel like I was getting pulled. Like I wasn't giving 100% to my job, and I was definitely not giving 100% to my girls.
Yeah.
And I had the opportunity to just be fully immersed in motherhood again. So I was like, why am I driving myself insane?
Yeah.
I feel like if it would have been my own business or something that was benefiting me 100%, then maybe I would have pushed it. But the fact that it was like, I was replaceable in that job. I mean, it was a corporate job where I didn't need to be killing myself
Yeah.
and not giving my girls like all the attention just for a job that I knew they were going to replace me, as soon as I quit.
Yeah. That's a good way to look at it. Yesterday the girl, she was she had been at that company for years and she's like, I already moved up. So then it's a little different because you're like, I
Right.
worked so hard for these roles, whereas you kind of just went in.
Yeah. I was there for a year and a half.
Yeah.
And I was having problems with them not promoting me, and I was meeting my goals and this and that. So I was like, why am I killing myself for a job that's not even giving back to me, the way that I'm giving to them?
Yeah, that's a good, yeah,
Yeah.
good to look at
It made
that.
it easier.
Yeah, because you're so, I mean, you think I'm bored at home, I'm bored as a stay-at-home mom, and other people are doing things more than me and they're working
Mhm.
and doing this, and how do they do it all? But
Exactly.
then you're in there and you're like, wait, what do I really want?
Yeah. But that's the thing about comparison. I mean, people put all their highlight reels, on social media, and I tend to do that too,
I
to
do
where
too.
I'm
I
comparing
say that all the
myself
time.
to other people,
Yeah.
but it's like no one's posting everything that they're going through. So you
Yeah.
have to not compare yourself.
Yeah. And I like that you bring that up before we even get into newborn stuff because you like to post like me, you are, I would say you have a side hustle, content creator.
Yeah. Trying.
Yeah. I mean, you get free
Yeah.
stuff. That's
Yeah. I've been getting stuff
right.
from
Yeah.
TikTok.
You
My
have the
TikTok's
links. I'm sure you
growing.
made a few dollars on all your links.
Yeah.
So you can call yourself a content creator for sure. But I feel like that's another, a whole other thing too. We compare ourselves on there, but we are wait, this is something I chose to do. But then you're back and forth. Do I really want to keep posting content? Do I want to take everything off and just it's just a whole,
Yeah. That's like that daily struggle of how much am I going
yeah.
to share today?
Each post is
Yeah.
should I share this? Should I not? Why am I even
Mhm.
doing this? And then my room's a mess. I need to change my outfit before I post that real day in the life.
Right.
But I didn't really sleep in that stage. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's just don't compare yourself is moral of the story because everyone it's not real.
It's not real. Yeah. Everything is edited and curated in a specific way.
Yeah, totally. And that's why I want to start this podcast in the Between Sips community, just to take it off of social media. And that's where we meet and that's where we do get inspired a lot of times. I mean, at the end of the day, I really do love social media and
Right.
I do it for a reason. But where are those real connections built is offline, right? Online, but off social media apps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm giving her a snack, and we both have our girls
Oh
at
no,
home. So if we have to run out and you hear them screaming, just
that's the real motherhood.
be inspired by the fact that we're doing both. Okay, so let's jump into. So you're 6 weeks in. Tell us a little bit about
Almost 7. She'll
almost
be
7
7 weeks tomorrow.
fast. 2 more weeks of a newborn.
Yes.
We caught
I
you right on
know.
time.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about
I
that.
know. I know. I don't feel like that's real. I feel like until 4 months, but
I know. They're so
that's what the internet says. So tell us a little bit about your first week back home. Like how was your delivery? Give us like that labor story if you're okay with that.
Yeah, that's fine. So with my first two, I had to be induced. So with this one, I was trying so hard to do it natural. I wanted the whole thing, like where your water breaks at home or where your contractions start, because I didn't have that with my first two.
Did you
So
always go past 40 weeks?
with my first, I went past to 41 weeks. And then with my second, I got induced at 39 weeks because we were moving here to Midland.
Oh, so you're like, we gotta
Yeah,
okay.
so I had to have her before I moved because it was either that or have a random doctor deliver me here, and I
Yeah.
didn't want that. So she was induced at 39 weeks, and then with my third, I was like, I don't want to be induced. I want the whole
Try the
thing
experience, yeah.
because I knew that this is going to be my last. So I was trying it all, the workouts,
Mhm.
the
I know
teas,
I saw them.
everything that you can
Had
find.
her.
Like everything, I was trying it all. And the only thing that I didn't want to try was the midwife brew because I've heard horror stories from that. But my midwife actually recommended it.
Okay,
So
so you had a midwife?
yes, I did. Had a
Was it your
midwife.
first time having a midwife?
Yes, it was.
Oh, what
With
was
my
that?
first two, it was nice. I mean, I really liked it because I feel like she had a more natural approach to things, but still science based, so I didn't
Did
feel
you
like,
have an OB at all?
sorry?
Did you have an OB at all, like a traditional OB or?
The OB would only see me, I think, like once. I think he saw me like once because my midwife works under the OB.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay. Okay,
So I
cool.
didn't have like a whole natural. She's actually the owner of the birth center here in Midland, but
Oh,
she works at the birth center and then she works at the clinic 2 days a week. So I was seeing her at the clinic.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's really
So it
cool.
was cool. Yeah, it was a cool
Yeah,
experience because
what
I
are the
feel like,
main differences like between both?
honestly, I didn't feel like I saw a lot of differences because at the clinic, she was still working, basically like a traditional OB. I think if I would have seen her at the birth center, things would have been
Like if she
different.
was your main.
Yeah. Which she was my main, but everything felt the same, honestly.
Oh, okay. I
Except
mean,
like, yeah,
everyone's experience.
yeah, everything felt honestly the same. She just had a more natural approach to like inductions. She won't induce you if it's not medically necessary.
Yeah.
So, like, that's something she does not do at all. But in my case, I ended up being induced. But I was at the hospital. So that's the thing. I tried the midwife's brew and it started my contractions, but they never got close together. So I was having contractions here at home and they were like every 5 to 6 minutes. And I ended up going to the hospital and they sent me back home. They were like, no, your contractions are not close together. So then I came back home and my contractions started again and they did get close together. They were happening every 2 minutes,
Yeah.
but they were not strong. They were not strong at all. So I
They're
went
like,
to the hospital and I was like, my contractions are every 2 minutes, but they're not like, I don't feel like I'm not screaming like how everyone says that you're supposed to
yeah.
feel. So they hooked me up to the monitor and they could see that I was contracting every 2 minutes, but they just weren't strong. And they checked me and I was at a 4 and they put me in a room and they were like, we're going to check you here in 2 hours and see how you're doing. So when they checked me again in 2 hours, they could see that my contractions had moved further apart. They were already like every 4 or 5 minutes, but I was still at a 4. And that's when my midwife came and she said, okay, like you can go home or I can break your water and start you on Pitocin. I was like, no, girl, break my water and start me on Pitocin. Like, I want to have this baby.
Again.
Yeah, I don't want to do this. So she did. She broke my water and then she started on me on Pitocin. And within an hour, I had her.
Oh my
But
God.
yeah, everything went by
Third
so
baby.
fast. But with these contractions, because I've had Pitocin before, but for some reason, this time the contractions felt horrible. If
Did
you
you
need
have
to
an
get her, you're
epidural?
fine. The other ones felt bad, but not like this time. I don't
Did you have an
know.
epidural? No?
Yes, I did have an epidural. Yes, I needed it.
Or this was after you were like, okay, give it to me now.
Yeah, I was like, give it to me now. Because at first, I mean, I wasn't feeling pain. I was literally relaxing there with
Yeah.
contractions because I wasn't feeling anything.
That's
But
great.
once she broke my water, and
Yeah.
started me on the Pitocin, yeah, that's when the real contractions
You're like,
came.
okay, I felt it. Now I can get the epidural.
Yes. And yeah, she gave me
Right?
that girl and I had
They're
her.
the best. At 3 centimeters,
Yes.
give it to me. Because they're like, you can get it whenever. I'm like, give it to me now. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so I got it right away.
yeah. Oh, that's cool. So then after, so for a lot of first time moms or women who are pregnant who have not experienced childbirth yet, listen to the podcast.
Uh-huh.
And so that experience is different for everyone, right? Like, I mean,
Right.
each one of your kids also probably was a different experience.
Right.
So then after that, you give labor. I mean, you give birth, and then they take you to another room, right? Like
Right.
after a few hours, they
Yeah.
like breastfeed, kind of go through that process with us. Like, how was that? Like, they take you to the room, the recovery.
Yeah. So after I had her, I was there for maybe, oh, they do the golden hour. That was something that was different from
Yeah.
El Paso to here. I noticed that with my first two, they took them away, they cut the cord. We did delayed cord clamping. That's
Yeah.
something that we did with all three girls. But with my other ones, I noticed that they still took them, they weighed them, and then
Did
they
they take
gave.
you to with the other girls to like a whole other room, or they just did it right there?
No, yeah, they were right there next to, but they did it like as soon as she was born. Like they took her out and they put her over there, they weighed her, measured her, did all the things. But with her, with my last one, they didn't. They do the golden hour and they ask you before if you want to do it or not. So as
Yeah.
soon as she's born, they give her to you and they place her on her chest and they do not move her for an hour. So while they're cleaning
What
her
is the
face
golden
to make
hour?
sure like she doesn't have mucus, stuff like that, they do that all while she's on your chest. So I thought that was really cool. That
That
was
is cool.
different.
I took a breastfeeding class before. It's funny, you
Uh-huh.
like sneak. I was like, oh, I'm educated. I remember telling the girl, like, I took a course, like, I know how to
Yeah.
breastfeed. She was like, okay. And I'm like,
Are
oh
you
my,
sure?
I can't believe I said that. How embarrassing. But, and in it, they're like, that's really important for breastfeeding is the golden hour. And I heard, so
Hmm.
I learned about that. But I was like too intimidated to to ask them, like, to do
Yeah.
it. But that's cool that they did it there.
Yeah. And see, I remembered that, but in the midst of all that, I wouldn't have remembered either.
Yeah. And you're not like pushing for yourself. You're like, just do what
Exactly.
you gotta do. Yeah.
You just want to have the baby and you don't want to die.
Yeah.
And that was
But
my
yeah,
birth plan, literally. I went in there saying, I want the epidural and I don't want to die. And I
yeah.
don't want my
Whatever
baby,
you have to
anything to
do.
happen to my baby. Like, that's it. That's my
Oh,
birth plan.
that's
But
fun.
yeah, they offered it.
That's
She
cool.
wants your glasses.
She wants my glasses. She wants to be on the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, so then they after the golden hour, that's really
Mhm.
cool. So if people are listening, that's something maybe to look into if you want to
Yeah.
spend it. Because I mean, I kind of wish I would have like said that. But sometimes your midwife will advocate if you have a midwife, I've heard that's like
Mhm.
because they do that for you.
Yeah. And they advocate for you. Yeah. So that's another thing too that I forgot. So with my midwife, after my placenta was delivered, she actually showed it to me and she explained like this part was,
Wow. Is that the first time?
yeah. So that was different because I hadn't had that with my other two girls.
Was it at a birth center or at a hospital?
No, it was at the hospital.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I think it's because my midwife delivered me.
Yeah,
So
interesting.
she showed, she like was showing me the placenta. We
Did
took
you see
pictures
the
of
placenta
it.
before?
No, I had never seen it. With
Yeah, I
my other
haven't
two,
either,
like
but
they
I know
delivered the placenta and then they threw it away and that's it.
yeah.
Well, they asked me. I think they did ask me all three times if I wanted to keep it, but I said no.
Okay, yeah, 'cause I didn't do that either.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I thought
What
that was
did they
really
say
cool.
about it? Like, what did they tell you about it?
She just told me like the side that the baby was on and the side that was on my body. And she like opened it up and showed me like the baby was in here. And it
That's
was,
so
yeah, it was really cool. And my husband recorded it. So I have like a recording of that too.
that's
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting.
yeah, you should share that in between the community. We won't share it on Instagram, but
Okay.
if you're okay
Yeah,
with
I
it,
will.
that'd
Yeah,
be
for
so
sure.
cool.
I thought that it was really
Um,
cool.
that is really cool. Because I
And
feel like
then,
I'd wanna know. I wanna know and like
right?
to see if I'll be brave enough for my next kid to be like, "Can I see it?"
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
You
I
should
don't
because
know. I don't know.
it's something cool. I mean, it's like a whole organ that you're growing inside your body.
It's crazy. It's like
You deliver it and then you don't even see it.
yeah. And it's like a whole other living yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
Okay, one sec.
So, oh yeah, you're fine.
What do you need, my love? What do you need? Rose? Okay, she's chill on the floor right here for a little bit. Okay. Okay, cool. So then after that, what happens after that? Like what they take you to the recovery and then
Yes.
that for me was like, wait, what? Like I didn't know any like I didn't know that any of this was gonna happen.
Yeah. So they sent me to the recovery room and then basically I had a nurse go in there, check me. pressed on my stomach to see how much I was bleeding.
Yeah, they do that. Did that hurt you?
It did hurt me.
Yeah, it did hurt me, and I hear people
No?
say it all the time, and it hurts so bad. I'm like, maybe because I was
Yeah.
still.
For me, it did hurt this last time. I don't remember with my other two, but with this one, it did. And I actually was bleeding a lot. They told me that I was having what did they call it? I don't even remember anymore. Postpartum hemorrhage, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. They told me that I was bleeding or that I bled as much as if I would have had a C-section.
Wow.
Yeah. So afterwards, they made me weigh every pad I was using. They had a weight in there and they were weighing them. So that was different because I didn't have that with my others.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember. Did they check your blood? Well, for you, they did. I don't remember if they checked how much blood I was. If they asked to see my pad, I don't remember. They
I
do like
think,
measure how much you're peeing, though.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, they like.
But for me, yeah, I had to weigh them. Like they literally brought in a little scale into my room and they were weighing every pad. Yeah. And they were like, if you go to the restroom while we're not here, just put them there and we'll weigh
Yeah.
them. I was like, okay.
Isn't that crazy? I'm like, I
Yes,
had amazing nurses. Did you?
I did actually.
They were so sweet. I'm like, you guys, how are you so sweet to like 8 women a day?
I
Like,
know.
they're so busy. It's just
That's
crazy
how
to
it
me.
is here too. We only have one hospital here. So
Okay, yes, it's just crazy madness.
yeah, it was crazy.
And they're like, you're like changing. Okay, so you go, I'm trying to remember as you go.
Yeah, yeah.
You go back into the room, and
Hmm.
then whoever your new nurse is, because your delivery nurse is different than your, it's called recovery nurse.
Yeah, you're a recovery nurse.
And she's the one who's going to help you go to the restroom for the first time. I don't know about C-section. Did you
Yeah,
have
me either. No, all
yeah.
mine were.
Yeah, these are all like vaginal. So I had to get on like the little, did they have to put you on like an, kind of like a wheelchair thing because my epidural was still like, I couldn't feel my legs. Does that happen to you or no?
Oh, okay. No, that didn't happen to me.
You were able to walk right away?
I was actually. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess it like wore off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to get on like this because I couldn't walk, but they were like, well, you need to try to pee. So she helped me. Like, I went on the wheelchair to the restroom.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And that pee, like, is the worst pee ever.
I know. For me, not the pee. For me, it was the first poop.
Oh, yeah.
That's, oh my gosh, that's the scary one.
It is scary. It's so scary and it's
Because
painful.
the feeling is weird. The feeling down there is weird. Like you're like numb and it
Yeah. And then you're
hurts.
like afraid to like tear more.
I didn't tear.
Oh God. Well, you had 2 babies. Probably that's why. Did you tear for any of them?
So with my first, I only tore because the doctor actually tore me.
Oh, okay. So you don't know if you maybe wouldn't have.
My mom was there with my first, and she says that the doctor literally, I don't know how much TMI we can go on this podcast.
Go for it.
She says that she literally had her hands and that she went like this. And when she went like this, I tore. I didn't tear a lot. I think it was just
Ah,
like a tiny thing. Yeah, my mom says that she saw it like happen. And I know. I don't know why she did that because she wasn't sick or anything. So
interesting.
that is interesting.
So if you tear, girl, my hair, what? If you didn't tear, does your pee still burn? That's probably why your pee didn't burn then that bad,
Yeah, I guess so because mine
right?
didn't. Yeah, mine didn't hurt. It was only the poop, and it was only because it felt like because even though you don't tear, you're still hurting down there.
Yeah, I
I
mean
mean,
you're
you still
stretched
stretch
out like you're
out.
sore, and you still have to push so it opens that hole
Yeah,
still.
exactly.
Yeah. Dude,
Yeah.
I'm like always constipated and literally after I gave birth, like not constipated at all for 2 weeks. I'm like, really? Like I would love to be constipated right now so I don't have to go to the restroom and sit in the
Right?
pool. But
Did
it's
they give you
so
the
annoying.
stool
I think I
softener?
even have a video like sitting on the toilet, like with my face, obviously.
I
Um,
know, because it's so that first time. So for any
I
new moms,
don't
just
know.
take the stool softeners.
Yeah, take the stool softeners because yeah, and they give them to you in the hospital.
Yeah, they do.
They did give it to me.
Yeah, me too.
That along with like all the Tylenol and Advil, so like because they knew like what
Yeah.
was cutting for the pain. So was the pain really bad if you don't tear?
Mine wasn't honest. Like afterwards.
Or pretty easily.
No, yeah. So like this time I bought like all the things like the Freedom Mom. I had bought the tuck pads. I bought some like foam thing and I didn't even end up using anything. I think the only thing I used was a dermoplast and I used it for like maybe one day, honestly, because I wasn't in pain. I just felt
Yeah.
very swollen and like tired, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
But
yeah.
yeah, but pain wise, honestly, I didn't have any pain.
That's awesome. I feel like that could be because of like your third baby.
Yeah.
Because I have a friend who had a baby, a third girl, also like the day before Joelle was born. And she was posting like walking her kids to school like in 2 days. And I'm like, how are you walking? Like I literally couldn't sit down. I could barely
Really?
walk. Like I
Did
was
you tear bad?
No, only 2
Oh,
centimeters
okay.
or 2, I don't even know what centimeters, 2
Yeah.
whatever. So, no, but I guess I was so shocked, like,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a whole new feeling.
so she's hold on, let me see.
You're fine. I'm actually gonna check on my baby super quick because I heard her. Maybe make sure she's not awake.
Okay. Do you want more snacks? Let me get you a snack. Snacks.
She was trying to stir awake, so I'm just gonna hold her and see if I can make her nap longer.
She's ready. Get your snack.
See if I can.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It really hurt. I was like shook by the
Yeah,
experience. Those next like 7 days were, I was
I
like,
know. That's how I was with my first. I was walking around with my first,
I mean, I
but
could walk for
was
sure.
yeah, but I remember being in pain versus like my second, my third, I wasn't in pain, honestly.
Yeah,
I
like I
didn't
could
care with
walk,
that.
but it was definitely like not normal. Like it was not easy. And
No,
I
yeah.
go for
You
a
feel
walk.
you feel like you're still waddling.
I was totally waddling for like I waddled for a while, but
Yeah.
and then you're like, okay, so that's like the whole experience after. Then you get to go home, like after they do all the tests for the baby.
Hmm.
They do the ear test, the audio. What else do they do?
And
Remember?
they check their levels for, oh my goodness, their
The John.
jaundice level. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, what is it? Their jaundice
Yeah,
level.
the jaundice, and then they do that little prick on the foot. That's the
Uh-huh.
only thing they
I
do, the
know.
prick. I
That
know,
was sad.
because
I
they
know.
take forever to get all the blood out. I'm
I
like, hurry
know.
up!
And
It's
then they're
just one
squeezing
time.
their foot too so
And then
hard.
they do it again at the pediatrician. Do they do it
Yes,
the first time? I'm like, really? Yeah, it's so
I
sad.
know.
But yeah, so they do all that. Then you get to go home. And what is
Yeah,
like for you? Did your girls meet her in the hospital or?
they did. Yeah, they did. So my mother-in-law brought them so they could meet her there. And I set up a camera so I could have
Oh,
that
that's
recording. Yeah, because
how
I
was
didn't
that?
it was so cute. My girls were so happy and they had been so excited about it.
They're like old enough to know like what like there's a
Yeah.
baby.
With my first two, I had them pretty close together, so my first didn't understand that I was pregnant.
Yeah,
She had
they
no
were like,
idea like,
oh,
what
that's
was going
so.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I
Oh, that's
introduced her to her sister, she was like, "What is this?"
so you come home and how was your breastfeeding journey? Like I know this is a topic. Some people want to just formula feed and that's totally cool. Didn't know what I wanted to do. I was like, I'm gonna try. I had no clue like anything about breastfeeding, how much I would actually really want to do it. I
Mhm.
ended up not being able to actually latch, but we spoke about that, like about implant stuff before or during. I don't remember.
Yeah.
How was that process for you compared to like your other girls too?
So with her, she's actually been having a bad latch and she's still gaining weight. She's eating. I mean, she latches and she eats,
Yeah,
but I know she has a bad latch just by the way her lips are formed.
I can see.
And
Yeah,
I can see that she's not latching correctly. And then my boobs hurt so bad. Like I have my nipples are raw right now, both of
yeah.
them. So that she just farted.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
And so that's been different. I've already gone to see a lactation consultant twice, and she's there at my daughter's pediatrician office. So it's pretty
Oh,
nice. Yeah. So I get to see her there, and then I see her pediatrician as well.
well, that's awesome.
Yeah. And she's been helping me. She's been giving me some tips. But at this last one, I just took her last week for the latch. It does look like she has a tongue tie. And it's
Mm,
not like a bad tongue tie where she
yes.
can't move her tongue at all. But she thinks that because she's a little restricted, that could be a reason why she's not latching correctly. And she wants me to take her to see a dentist to possibly get that
That's like
revised.
hard. Like all the things you have to do.
I
It's like,
know. So that's
oh,
like another, like, that's a whole other thing that I didn't know about before I had my first.
yeah. No, you
Like I
don't.
didn't know about lip ties and tongue ties and that can affect your breastfeeding journey.
So much like about mastitis. Have you ever gotten
Hmm.
mastitis?
I have. I actually started to get it with her,
I
but
know.
I stopped it like
Yeah.
quick. Like as soon as I felt the symptoms coming, I was taking all the things and putting
Yeah.
warm
And
compresses.
that's good to know. Like I feel like I'm like everyone should have all this stuff ready because I didn't. So I was
Yes.
like door dashing things. But and like the first time was like so overwhelming trying to fight it. Well, the first time I had to get on antibiotic because I let it go too far. Because you don't know. Like
Oh, yeah, yeah,
when I
yeah.
was getting the flu, I'm like, dang, I'm
And
getting
it literally feels like you have the
it
flu.
feels like the flu, yeah. I'm like, I
I'm
hope
gonna
she
feed her.
doesn't get sick. But so you like have no clue. And so I hope that like people who listen to this, they're like a little more
Yeah.
prepared.
Yeah, because there's so much that goes with breastfeeding that I feel like even if you're thinking about doing it, you definitely need to read up on it and like
Yeah.
because there's
Absolutely.
just so much to it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm like latching
No,
her.
you're good. There's so much and yeah, like even here like you won't ever really know until you're there though. So
Yeah.
like if you even enjoy it, like so many people don't enjoy it and
Yeah.
they don't want to do it, and then some people love it. Like you think you're gonna love it way more, and then your baby's not latching, or like you have a good experience. It's just everyone is so different.
Yeah.
It's so
It's so different for everybody. And even like with her, so, you know, her latch has not been the best, but I have been thinking about doing like combo feeding only because I have three girls now. You know, with my first two, I had them so close together. I was a stay-at-home mom, but I could be at home all day if I needed to. If I needed to be in pajamas all day, I could be at home
yeah, that's me right
feeding
now.
her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now I don't. Like, I have to be up at a certain time.
Yeah, they go to school.
I have to take them to school. They have to be there at a certain time, pick them up. Like, there's just so much going on. And like, my older girls are in piano, they're in gymnastics. So there's just so much where I'm not at home all day.
Yeah, it's so different, and you have to just. I mean, at the end, it's like what works for you, not
Yeah.
like.
And
But
it's
there's a lot
easy.
of
I mean,
pressure and everything.
I can latch her on wherever I am.
Yeah.
I'm not like embarrassed to latch her wherever. I cover myself, but
Yeah.
I will put her wherever. But still, sometimes I just don't have like the time for it, or not that I don't have the time for it, but I also have stuff like I joined junior league, so I
Yeah.
want to be able to go to those meetings and be able to leave her at home with my husband.
Yeah.
So
Or like, I mean, your daughters, like you, like they need something. Like I want to be able to like, okay, hey, can you take the baby and I will spend time with,
exactly,
they need me for something. So yeah, that's, I mean, you just have to do what's best for, and that's
yeah,
a whole formula's another whole other thing. So everything has its
yes,
drama.
I know. And I was gonna try to pump, but it's the same thing. Like if I'm gonna sit down to pump, I can sit down and just latch her.
Yeah, it's more
Like
time.
I just feel like I don't have the time to pump.
No, and honestly, had I like been able to latch, it's so much easier.
Yeah,
Eating, you're not
there's
freezing,
just
you're
a
not
lot.
a lot. Yeah.
It
So
is a lot. So that's
yeah,
why I'm
do
like, I don't think I'm gonna
whatever
pump.
yeah. If you don't have to, that's you never had the experience of pumping. That would be crazy.
No, never. Yeah. I've used the Haka before, but that's not a pump. That's just like to catch,
Yeah,
yeah, your milk.
I use that only for trying to get clogged ducts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like when I had mastitis, I would do
Uh,
that. That was one of
yeah.
the remedies.
Oh, yeah. And you fill it up with something, don't you? I
Yeah,
forgot
like
that.
salt, Epsom
Yeah,
salt.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, see? Yeah, and there's things that you forget.
you do, and it's just
Yeah.
good to have a community to like remind and be
Yeah.
there because it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, we're almost done. Our babies are going crazy,
Yeah, no, you're fine.
but we're getting through it. Just sleeping. Let's chat about sleeping because I know it's hard in the beginning, and for me, like it's still kind of hard, but it's nothing close to newborn hard. And it went by so fast.
I know. It does go by so fast. So she was actually my first baby to sleep more than 2 hours. Yeah.
Oh,
Like straight up from the
that's
hospital,
nuts.
she was sleeping 4 hours at a time. And for me, I was like, what the heck? Because I was not used to that.
Like wake up.
Especially breastfed babies, they tend to eat a lot more often. So I
True.
was used to my girls like eating every 2 hours.
That's true.
So that was different for me, you know, and she started sleeping every 4 hours. So I felt pretty good at night. I was getting 4 hour stretches.
During the day, you're like, okay,
Now she's not
this is
sleeping as,
growing or something.
yeah. But, you know, those first few nights, it's, you know, getting up and
2 weeks is
turning on your little light, if you have like a little light at your nightstand, and feeding her, latching her, and then, you know,
diaper.
change the diaper,
Has
putting her
there been
back in
any
the,
point where she didn't latch? Like she's like, I just don't want it. Do you just not feed? She does that.
well, I don't wake her up if she's not hungry.
So like she's always latched because she's always hungry when she's.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've always latched her. Yeah.
It's so crazy because I don't have that experience. Like anytime I try to latch, she just would
Really?
scream, push me away. Yeah. So I'm like, it was just so weird. I don't know
Yeah.
why. So weird how. And
And
I
did
tried
you have
for
her checked for
3
tongue
weeks.
ties and stuff?
I had a lactation consultant, and they were like, they're a little too young to like say.
Yeah. The first, like when they're newborns, they told me that they're too young. So whenever the lactation consultant checked her, like the very first time, she told me like, yeah, she's too young. But this last time she was 6 weeks, and she says that you could tell that she has a tongue tie.
Yeah. So I don't know, but whatever. We're past that anyways.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
No, but maybe for your next one,
yeah.
if you
I
want to.
feel like I know it's gonna be hard, but I'm like, I'll be way more knowledgeable.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, I have one more question. So, how is your through all of your babies, and like, how has your anxiety been? Does it ease more? Obviously, with your third one, probably because you know, like, they're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
These are normal. Like, you know how to deal with constipation and crying, and yeah. How has that whole like that experience been?
So I think now with my third, I'm like fine. I feel good. There's random days where I feel like my anxiety's coming up, but I
Yeah.
think more from just like feeling overwhelmed with it all.
Everything.
But with my first, I don't feel like I had honestly anxiety. Like I was in El Paso, I had my family, I had like a really good support system with my first. So I feel like that helped me the most, to not feel anxious. I had my mom, I had like my grandmas, I had that strong village that I feel like you really need. With
Yeah.
my second, I didn't
Because you were
because we moved to Midland when she was 2 weeks old. And I think that's when my anxiety was like at an all-time high. But I think it's because I was navigating like going from one to two kids
yeah.
and then learning how to do that all by myself because my husband was working and he works in the oil field. So he was working like long, long hours.
You're alone all
So
day.
I was alone like from the morning till sometimes like nighttime. And then with two kids, with my first, she wasn't even two yet when my second was born. So it was just a lot, a lot, a lot. And I was definitely going through it, but I wasn't telling anybody, and I don't know what it is with us that, when you're feeling anxious and stuff that you think like, oh, I can work through it alone. Like,
Yeah.
and that's something like any mom is listening, like totally reach out. Like
Yeah. And
it's
people
so
like
common.
it. I feel it's so common, and someone who's been through it or like a mom, like you can relate, which most people have
Yeah.
some sort of anxiety, maybe not full on depression, but like there's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a second of baby blues. I had it for like 2 minutes, I think, in a hospital. And
Uh-huh.
I can't imagine going through that for like a whole week. Like it's just crazy. But people love to help. Like what I've learned is like moms really do like to talk about it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Especially after like you've gone through it, I feel like.
Yeah,
Once that
totally.
fog is like gone, you're like, okay, like I feel fine to talk about it. And
Well, I mean, sorry, I mean like you moms want to help.
yeah,
So
yeah,
like
of course.
like you're like I don't want to tell anybody like it's just 'cause I'm going through it.
Yes.
Surprise sharing it
Yeah,
like
so many people go through it. Yeah. So that's for sure. I mean, I went through it alone, honestly. And looking back on it, I think I was pretty down bad to the point where I could have probably used medication, like honestly. But I never told anybody, like, not even my husband knew how bad I felt. Because sometimes he would get, yeah, like it was to the point where, I mean, he was working so much.
I don't want to I'm not even gonna tell you. You're home for
Yeah.
6 hours and like probably
hmm
15
But
grand
some
back.
of the stuff that would help me. So when we first moved here, we sold our house in El Paso and we were living in an apartment because we weren't sure like what we were going to do. So we moved into an apartment for a year and I would just go out and walk. Like the moments where I would feel like I was so stressed out, I had a Veer. Well, I still have it. It's like the Veer wagon. And
Yeah.
I could attach the Nuna onto it. So I would have my toddler in it in like the regular seat and then the baby in the Nuna. And I would go on long walks. I'm talking about like hour walks.
That's that hot mom walk. It does
Yeah,
help. Like
it does.
I don't know why. Like would you listen to podcasts? You kind of just quiet, everyone's happy because kids love
Yeah.
the walk.
Yeah, they do. No, it was definitely just sometimes I would just walk and then other times I would call someone. So I would have like my little headphone and I would call like my mom or my dad or just someone to like help distract me. But I never told anyone because I didn't want anyone to worry about me,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know. And I think
valid.
that goes along with like, me being the oldest daughter and there's that whole other thing to it, but I just didn't want anyone to worry about me.
That's your identity. Having to deal with your identity there.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, I'm happy that I somehow miraculously got a lot of prayer, honestly, a lot of prayer of like, just help me get through this. I don't. And then I did. Just from one day to another, I think once my second started to get older and I got more used to it, it
Yeah.
was just, I slowly like eased out of that.
Awesome.
And then, yeah.
And
And then with her right now, I still feel fine. Yeah, I feel anxious once in a while, but
that's a normal, probably something we all
yeah, nothing like how I did with my second.
yeah.
So, she's like wanting to eat, wanting to wake up.
They grow so fast. I
I
miss
know.
so you're like you know, so you're enjoying it, I'm sure.
Yes. Yeah, because I look at my daughters and like I obviously know that I realized that they were older. But once I saw her and like
Yeah.
I swear I turned and look at my daughters and I'm like, how? Like, how did that happen? They're
Oh.
about to be 4 and 6. I'm like, how? Like, yeah.
But I think you had I
I
don't
think
think
I
you
was pregnant when we met.
yeah, we met at a coffee shop, remember?
Yeah. And I had met you at your boutique first.
We met online. I mean,
Yeah.
we met there and then we like went for coffee.
Yeah, yeah. And
But
I
yeah,
was pregnant.
were you pregnant? Did you start
Yeah.
like that? So were you pregnant or after she was born?
No, I was pregnant with her.
Oh my gosh, let's go.
Yes.
It's so
I know
crazy.
it's gonna be 6 years in July when she was born. So it just literally it goes by like that.
Yeah, what's one thing you're well and with this one
Uh-huh.
you're enjoying now with your baby because you know that it goes by so fast that you're like you would tell moms, new
I feel
moms.
like everything, like every nap, every contact nap, with my like
And
I love it. Oh yeah, I do contact naps all the time. And I've done them with all three.
yeah, same.
And it's just like honestly, some people will tell you like put them down, like you're gonna get them used to your arms. And honestly, yeah, you do get them used to your arms, but
So I
who
feel like
cares? Like they grow so fast. Your baby's never gonna be this tiny again. So like if you have the 5-10 minutes to just sit with them and hold them, I mean just do it. Because they
that,
literally grow so fast.
that is a good tip because you're so worried about spoiling them and doing all that,
Yeah.
but like she's already starting to crawl. Like she doesn't want me to hold her, and she's only 8 months. Like that was fast.
Exactly. So
Gotta kiss.
that's like, yeah. So like the newborn phase when they just want to be in your arms, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Hold them as much as you can because it really does go by fast.
Look, she's squealing so sweet.
I know.
Went through two of these.
I can.
Well, thank you so much. That was fun. We can talk for hours, but
I know. I feel like there's so much to motherhood that.
there's so much and it's so beautiful and we'll never be done like learning and talking about it. And I mean we'll continue the convo in our community.
Yeah.
But thanks for being here
Yeah.
and
Thank you for
sharing,
having me on
of
my
course,
first
and little
podcast.
Zara. Yeah, and Joelle. Okay, guys, thanks for listening. I will link Stephanie's Instagram and everything in the show notes because she puts all the fun newborn content. And yeah, talk to you guys soon.
Thank you. Bye.